load planning and transportation optimization. Well, joining us today to speak about that, Jason Lockard, Senior Vice President, Managed Logistics at BlueGrace Logistics. Jason, good to see you, welcome.
Thank you, Russell.
Jason, given all of the supply chain disruptions that have been going on, given the capacity constraints that we see out there, how are companies faring? How are they dealing with those things?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely got to think outside the box when there's not a rate play available in terms of negotiating better transportation rates because of the capacity issues. You have your supply chain disruptions. That means your inventory is not where it used to be. A lot of customers are moving things around as well. So all that being considered, we've got to move upstream and look at order level data, look at opportunities to make better decisions, smarter decisions, which means consolidation. Right? If we move the same amount of product on fewer trucks, going less miles, we should find ways to reduce costs. So we've had to think outside the box quite a bit.
Well, obviously the entire supply chain has been disrupted in the last couple of years, and we don't know that these problems are going to just magically go away. We're still going to have some type of constraints and still have some kind of hurdles to deal with. So is what you're talking about a short-term solution, or are we going to normalize this at some point? I mean, walk us through what you see coming down the pike.
Sure. Yeah, I think I think that looking at the automotive industry was interesting, because that's probably one of the most consistent static supply chains. They can create milk runs and static moves, and even their supply chains have been disrupted so much they've had to find opportunities to become more dynamic. I think that's the key word, is being dynamic. So I do think that this is going to stay for quite some time in terms of the nature of supply chain changing, with so much digitalization and companies just trying to move pieces around on the map, I guess you could say, to drive out cost. It's going to be an ever-changing thing. So I don't think it's a short-term play. I think this is a long-term solution that shippers really need to embrace, is try to find efficiencies upstream in the supply chain to find as much consolidation opportunity as possible. And all the variables continue to change.
Now, of course, not every company out there is going to be of the size of automobile companies.
Right.
So, but nevertheless, they're still going to be dealing with these constraints. They're still going to have these hurdles, still going to have these issues. So you feel that this is something applicable to their situations as well?
Absolutely. This is not just a Fortune 100 opportunity. This goes all the way down to mid-market type shippers that are really, it's the ones that are experiencing exponential growth. I think this has the greatest value, is that they're trying to scale their business at the same time trying to keep up with what's happening in the supply chain and transportation. So that's very difficult to do while you're trying to focus on your specific product or good or service. And so this is something that needs to be leveraged and is not easy to keep up with.
Well, let's bring this on home now, because the viewer is going to want to know, what is BlueGrace Logistics going to be able to do for me?
Yep.
So let's talk about how you're optimizing operations with your present clients. Walk us through that. What would you say?
It starts with data. Unfortunately, data only tells us half the story. And what we see very commonly is that shippers really don't have access to good, clean, accurate data. But that's okay. That's actually something we encounter quite a bit, so we have ways to try to dissect what's happening. So we do quite a bit of on-site stakeholder interviews, process and value stream mapping, try to understand what the baseline, what the current state is. Usually if we have that combined with the data, it gives us a full picture of what's happening. So once we've established that current state or that baseline, then we start using that data to make observations. Those observations start at the, let's call it 50,000 foot level, and we start chipping away, peeling back that onion, and looking for something that is actionable, that can be proven with data, that can be time specific, and has an ROI allocated to it. And that's really helped our stakeholders, usually somebody in the supply chain, go and get buy-in from the rest of the organization, at the C-suite, to say, hey, this is a project worth doing that affects the entire company. Because some of the business problems that we're solving with this transportation data are in other areas of the company. It could be lead time, customer service, or sales, that they're going to have to go back and change their relationship with their customers or their vendors or suppliers. So it really does, it's cross-functional opportunity, and we've got to get buy-in from the whole company to be able to make effective change on these things.
Great drill down into an important situation. Jason, thank you so much for finding the time to speak with us here at this trade show. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell.
That's Jason Lockard, BlueGrace Logistics, speaking with us today about load planning and transportation optimization. Thanks for watching.